Gamers, my name is KarQ. Today we have an update for the Overwatch 2 6v6 discussion, which was confirmed a few months back. And today we have a director's take, which is Aaron Keller, the game director, writing out a blog and giving a little developer update. So there's an article out, and if you haven't read it, that's okay. This is why you click the video. I'm going to read it for you and give a little bit of my thoughts. Here we go. From the top, it says, hey, welcome back to another director's take. We're going to continue the 6v6 discussion. That's the title of it. Back in July, we opened the conversation around 6v6 and 5v5. And now we'd like to continue that conversation as well as share a few updates coming in Season 13 and Season 14. Previously, we talked about the different format changes throughout Overwatch's history, why we switched to 5v5, and where we plan to go from there. Or from here. Included in those next steps, we said we're looking at running a series of tests to try out a different core team composition format in Overwatch 2. These format tests are all about understanding if we can make the core game even stronger. Every day, millions of players jump into the core 5v5 format, and the last thing we want is to negatively impact that experience. The exciting thing about these tests is that the potential to introduce something that could appeal to another group of players, ones that might have felt uncertain about the move to 5v5 when Overwatch 2 launched. Again, if you didn't read the previous 6v6 Director's Take blog, check it out because now we're going to dive into plans for the 6v6 and the format tests mentioned there. So there's a link to the old article. We'll keep that in the description, and I made another video back in July where I read that article to you if you want to click that, if you're too lazy to read and you just want to listen to me read it to you. That's also linked in the description. Aaron says, here are the upcoming 6v6 tests in Season 14. The team has been exploring our vision and development for these tests, and we're happy to announce we'll be running 2 different 6v6 tests in Season 14. The first 6v6 test will be launching a week into the season, December 9th to December 16th, I guess. That will look a little different than the standard 2-2-2 role queue from Overwatch. Now, part of this series of tests is to not only judge our players' appetite for larger team sizes, but for us to explore different ways that we might implement a change without running into the same problems we had previously. With that in mind, our first test will be a variation of open queue, which we're internally referring to as minimum 1, maximum 3. So each team of 6 must have at least 1 of each role, but no more than 3. There are a few different combinations here that you'll be able to try, but this opens up many different team compositions that we haven't seen before in Overwatch 2. You'll be able to switch roles on the fly during a match as long as the switch doesn't break the min 1 max 3 limit. Besides experimenting with the format that could be seen as a middle ground to role queue and open queue, this will also give us a look at how Overwatch 2 heroes, abilities, and updates work in a 6v6 environment before we expand to other types of tests. The second 6v6 test will be during the Season 14 mid-season cycle. That's probably around early January, if I had to guess, 4 weeks later, which will be the classic 2-2-2 composition, but will incorporate some new principles we introduced within Overwatch 2, like the less CC and the hero reworks. The 6v6 test will have their own card in unranked alongside other modes, and they will not take the place of other types of game modes like seasonal events or quick play hacked. We'll also be implementing a series of balance changes that will apply to these 2 test modes only. The power and survivability of tanks will go down in these 6v6 formats, and we'll be taking another look at whether we need many of the passes we added in Overwatch 2. All right, before I read the rest of this, holy shit. So basically, the first test, minimum 1, max 3. So my understanding is that this will solve like the whole tank queues being incredibly fast and the lack of tank players. So Aaron alluded to the issues they had in Overwatch 1 and old 6v6 and 2-2-2 was queue times. If anybody remembers, right, people used to have 10, 20, 30-minute DPS queue times because that was the most popular queue, while tank was the least popular. So tank players were able to find games, but DPS players had to wait so damn long. So the minimum 1, max 3 means everybody just queues into a pool and it could just find 6 people without having a separate rank for each role, which is very interesting. So that's their first test. They want to see if this can solve queue time issues. And the second will be seeing player behavior, seeing what ends up being popular. I'm going to assume most people will probably still default to 2-2-2, but it does open up like 3-1-2, 3 tanks, 1 DPS, 2 supports, or it might go to 1 tank, 3 DPS, 2 supports. In any case, they're going to test that out and see what people like to play. And their second test will be the classic 2-2-2 with some new principles. This is interesting because like Again, they reworked a lot of heroes from the classic 2-2-2 Overwatch 1. Like Doomfist, they reworked him from DPS to tank in Overwatch 2. Mei doesn't have hard freeze on the left click or the primary fire. Orisa doesn't have a bongo shield or halt. There's This will be wild, but I'm kind of excited for it, to be honest with you. This is the best middle ground that Blizzard has offered, to be honest with you, after a couple of years of being like, all right, we tried it out now. People are clearly still unhappy. A lot of people still want 6v6 back. Let's see what we can do. Aaron says, upcoming game modes in season 13. So right now we're in season 13, chat, or viewers. Aaron says we will be hosting 2 5v5 format experiments in season 13 that are also aimed at testing flexibility within this format, similarly to the 6v6 tests. We're planning on trying a quick play hacked coming soon, which we're calling Limit 2. This will be 5v5 with the maximum number of each role limited to 2. Oh, this includes tanks, but they will be tuned to the open queue balance, meaning they will have less health. You can freely switch heroes and roles as long as the new role doesn't already have 2 players. Wow, so similar to the other test. Also opens up the queues a little bit. Aaron says, like in the 6v6 limit test, we're trying to look at how the game in its current state works if players have more freedom with team compositions without making it full open queue. And then for the season 13 mid-season cycle, we're planning a special game mode currently codenamed Kingmaker. It's kind of like Limit 2, but the maximum number of each role is limited to 2. However, the player who is alone in their role gets a bonus. We'll talk more about how the mode works in more detail closer to its launch, but like Limit 2, we're exploring more freedom in 5v5 while enabling more types of compositions to succeed. So the quick play hack, Limit 2, and Kingmaker mode will provide an excellent benchmark and framework for us going into those 6v6 tests. We're looking forward to seeing what statistics we can gather as you dive into these modes alongside your feedback, which is one of our strongest data points. So hey, when you play this, like, be honest, be critical. Like people are allowed to say what they want, but like hopefully like the best feedback doesn't get lost in the sea of complaints. Like, praise stuff that's good, criticize things that are bad, but if you're critical of it, like, explain more of why you don't think it's good. Not just saying this is shit, fix the game, Blizzard. Like, fix the game, such a blanket, empty, useless statement. Like, okay, we get it, you don't like it, but what don't you like? Why don't you like it? What interaction did you not like or enjoy? You're free to say whatever you want, but like, I hate it when like there's like good nuggets of good feedback that just get lost in the sea of the piss of people annoyed. So if you agree with somebody who is like criticizing the game with valid points, upvote those so those ones get seen. Not the one that says Blizzard fix your game and that gets 10,000 likes on like Twitter or Reddit or whatever. That's so useless. The next part of this article, we're almost done here. It says a world with 5v5 and 6v6. Aaron says, as we mentioned in our previous piece, we will be watching the reception and the results of these tests closely. Another sentiment from that piece that I would like to reiterate here is that the Overwatch team wants to make the game that you want to play. So what does that mean for the future based on these experiments? In the world where a surge of players join this mode and continuously play it, then we have the signal we need to do more with it. I think what that more is dependent on the level of excitement. Is there a world where both 5v5 and 6v6 exist permanently in Overwatch 2? If you had asked me a few months ago, I would have said no. As we've discussed Overwatch 2's future in light of making the game that our players want to play, we know our players can want more than one experience, and it would be something we need to consider moving forward. Yes to this. I mean, listen, RuneScape split off into 2 games. People did not like RuneScape 3. They listened to the community after a couple of years. What did players want to play? They wanted the old school back. So they did, and they iterated off old. Both games coexist. Old is doing better than new. I play old school RuneScape. I'm an Iron Man. If you guys are rating Theater of Blood, Chambers, whatever, hit me up. CC, FC, KarQ. But you know, this shit works. If you like this 6v6 mode, guys, like, play it. Be critical, be honest. Tell your friends that 6v6 is back. Tell them to give it a shot, especially those who quit the game. Try it out. I mean, Overwatch 2 is free, right? If they used to love, especially if they used to love the game, give this one an honest whirl and be like, hey, wait, maybe this isn't so bad. Or, you know, oh, it's still dog shit. Oh, God, you know, at least try it. Anyways, they need the data, so more to come closer to season 14. The upcoming months are going to have a ton of excitement with Quick Play Hack, the Limit 2, Kingmaker in season 13, multiple 6v6 tests in season 14, and maybe another special surprise just around the corner. The team couldn't be more stoked to share these updates with you, and we'll be diving in alongside you. That way, the way that we take Overwatch to the next level is by centering all of you at the heart of what we create and the directions we take together. Your feedback and collaboration with our team will always be an essential part of Overwatch's development. So stay tuned for more news and announcements in the weeks to come. We'll have more information to share on the 6v6 tests in season 14 Quick Play Hacked events closer to their launches. Let's make a great game. And that's why you subscribe here at youtube.com/KarQ archives and the main channel, youtube.com/KarQ, because I will keep you up to date on the news and announcements of this. And I will be releasing patch notes for 6v6 and tier lists and all that fun stuff. So subscribe. Thanks for listening to me reading the article. What do you guys think in the comments? Please discuss. I will read it. I don't want to say Blizzard reads the comments, but I'm pretty sure they read the comments on like creators who have an audience to this because I was like, if I were Blizzard, I'd look at the forum reception to this article. I'd look at Reddit. And if content creators are reading this article, like me or Flats or whoever you listen to, they probably read the comments there too. So, hey, what do you guys think? Let me know. Thanks for listening. KarQ out. Peace.